On the 11th of April, Chile's Congress on Tuesday passed a bill to gradually cut the work week from 45 hours to 40 hours. The bill had overwhelming support, with 127 in favor and 14 against it. This comes as a victory for President Gabriel Boric, who popularly has been declining since he came to power last year. The United States, Panama, Colombia agreed on Tuesday to launch a 2-month campaign to tackle undocumented immigration, and this is to end the illegal movement of people through the jungle region separating Colombia and Panama, known as the Darien Gap. The three governments made this announcement in a joint statement after a meeting in Panama. The move will also focus on opening new, flexible and legal alternatives to irregular migration. Over 88,000 illegal crossings have taken place through the Darien Gap in the first 3 months of 2023. French President Emmanuel Macron is visiting the Netherlands. He was interrupted by protesters while giving a speech. The protesters started objecting at the beginning of a speech by Emmanuel Macron in Hague. This prompted the French president to say that those who do not respect the electoral process and elected leaders put democracy in danger. Macron, who was due to give a speech on European sovereignty at the start of a state visit in the Netherlands, has been facing weeks of tense protests at home against pension reform laws that will delay the age at which the French can retire. President Sergio Mattarella joined the family and relatives of an Italian tourist who was killed in Israel. The coffin with the remains arrived in Italy at Rome's Ciampino airport in Rome on Tuesday. Alessandro Perini was killed on Friday in Tel Aviv's Israel commercial hub during an attack which Israeli officials say was carried out by Palestinian assailants. Israeli authorities said 5 other Italian and British citizens were wounded when a car rammed into a group of terrorists in Tel Aviv. Italian authorities, they've opened an official investigation into his death. Ukraine's first Deputy Foreign Minister, Emily Desperova, who is in India for a 4-day visit, has expressed Kiev's desire for New Delhi to take a bigger stand for the ongoing war in Ukraine. Ukraine has been hoping India will help quell the war, which has been going on for over a year now. The Deputy Foreign Minister is the first Ukrainian official to visit India since the war began last year. Zarapova said she hoped Indian officials who visited Moscow in February and held talks with President Vladimir Putin would also visit Kiev. Ukraine's energy minister said Kiev has resumed electricity exports to Europe. The exports were halted in October after Russia began launching regular missile and drone attacks at critical energy infrastructure. The strikes caused sweeping power outages for civilians and industries, forcing workers to work overtime to try to repair the grid. The European Union is Ukraine's main export market for energy. The minister said supply of electricity to the domestic population remained the country's top priority. Armored vehicles, fire and destruction. These are the scenes from Ukraine's eastern frontline city, Chasiv Amid all this destruction and military presence, pensioner named Oleg refuses to leave the city. He says the only people left in the city are pensioners, blind and limping like him. He further says he has no options left. His living room floor is littered with alcohol bottles, and the only joy he finds amid the raging war is listening to Pink Floyd album saved on his memory card with a beer in his hand. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for massive international assistance for Somalia. Somalia is facing a humanitarian crisis due to the drawn-out armed conflict. Guterres, at a joint press conference with Somalia's president, said that he was on a visit of solidarity. The UN has launched a $2.6 billion appeal for humanitarian assistance, but the UN chief claims only 15% has been funded. The worst drought in decades amid an insurgency, it's pushed many people in Somalia to the brink of famine.
All right, guys. Yeah, just through here.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.